Oh, how I love coincidental irony. Just the other day, I was on Twitter and there's some SOYEON anti, just spewing stuff they don't know what they're talking about, using keywords in rap that they don't know what means, saying how SOYEON doesn't ever use intonation and inflections and stuff. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? She does it all the time. And I gave examples to prove them wrong. But the hilarious thing is SOYEON herself proved them wrong in her very next released rap, because she just did a brand new verse for BBN, a Bad B number, right? And it's just like a live only version that she just did the other day. And guess what the punchline of the main bar specifically uses? Intonation. She literally goes, which is intonation. So, that's not the only cool thing. Let's go over it. But I just thought it's hilarious that there's literally a SOYEON auntie who's super passionate about how bad SOYEON is at rapping while not knowing what they're talking about. It's just flat out proven wrong by SOYEON on her very next rap. So let's look at this because it is pretty cool. Stick with me here. For those who know what this is, please ignore this. I'm going to explain how this looks for people who are brand new here. If you are new here, feel free to subscribe. Come join us on our Discord server. I'd love to have you as part of our community. But let's look at this cool flow. What you're looking at here is the flow written out musically. It is the syllables SOYEON is rapping with the rhythm that the syllable takes on, because obviously rap is rhythm, right? So the words that she has rhythm to the music. So everything you see on the bottom in the red circle there, that is the actual every single syllable coming out of her mouth that has, a rhythm to it, its own rhythm. And then at the top is the cadence. That is the part that you feel, the part that you kind of bob your head to, the parts that hit. Yeah, and it's just written out musically. If you can't read music, it is okay. I'm going to do my best to explain this in as mundane terms as possible. Let's get started. So this is basically separated into 3 different sections of flow. Ready? You got this first section right here, which kind of transitions into the next section right there. Then you have section 2 here, which kind of itself is a transition into section 3 here. So you have 3 different flows, I would say, with 2 flow changes in there. First off, you have this opening flow right here, which is a shuffle. This is something that if you watch my breakdown for Bad B number, not Bad B number, my apologies, in Dark X file, she does this really weird relationship with straight and shuffle feel going back and forth between the two, which is really cool. However, here this is just a much more straightforward shuffle feel, and it just stays a shuffle feel until this punchline here. Now the flow itself is nothing extraordinary. It's just a 16th note flow with some cool spacings of an 8th note on the E's of bars of beats too. So these like little things in a lining of green right there. Cool little spacings to spice up the 16th. Overall simple flow, just with a shuffle feel. And the shuffle feel makes it like a da 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 da. It gives it a little gallop to it, just a slight gallop, so it's not da 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 da. It gives it a little gallop. However, when she gets to the punchline in bar 4, this is the part where she goes, "Fuck, the contract is over in November." And if you are curious about the lyrical meaning and the in-depth analysis on the lyrics, please, that is not what I'm breaking down here. Check out a Neverland Twitter, a Neverland YouTuber. That is not my expertise. I do not know all the tea and the drama behind that, but interesting part. I must say, I'm very curious what that's going to end up looking like. But she does that punchline, the fuck the contract is over in November, and gives it so much oomph, so much power when you listen to that, because you're like, oh, even if you don't speak Korean, you're like, oh, like you feel that, because there's 2 things going on. One, the intonation I talked about at the start, where she's making her voice go, shiba, right? The shiba at the start has a very high tone, and then or high pitch and tone, and it goes down, and she slowly like descends it, I guess, right? In terms of rap, like intonation, right? She slowly changes that pitch and goes down, which is like kind of like giving that bar a lot of punch, but at the same time she changes it from a shuffle feel, which is a more light-hearted type of flow, da 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 da. She goes from that to a straightforward straight flow, which is a more serious, I would describe it as a serious, feeling flow, right? Like, so she goes from this more bright and boppy, so it gives it this punch without actually changing the rhythm of it. It's just changing the feel of the rhythm. It gives it this punch on that punch line, right? So she's doing like 3 things to give it this, oh my god, shit, right? The lyrics Fuck, the contract is over in November, that everyone's going to go, oh my God. 2, the intonation of her descending that pitch. And 3 is the feel of that flow, the feel of the rhythm going from shuffle to that serious straight. And then she keeps it on that serious straight for the rest of it because she continues the straight flow here as she goes into her flow number 2, which is now just a straight flow. It's the same style rhythmically. It is 16th space, but with more spacing of eighth notes in there. As you can see, there's a lot more eighth notes here, 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 even a dotted eighth note here, some little diddles spaced in here. It's just a lot of 16th, but way more spaced out with eighth notes. You can think of it as this first flow has a lot more, it's a shuffle, but then the rhythm is actually a lot more compact than the second one here. And she slowly starts to put in these little skips right here. These eighth notes are carrying over bar 1. She's not hitting the downbeat anymore, which is oddly common for SOYEON. She does this a lot, but it's not the most common thing in rap, right? Where you're skipping the downbeat, because the downbeat's supposed to bring you back to 1. It's supposed to give you this like home base, this starting point, so you don't get lost. And she's skipping over that every time to give it a little more, like it's going over the bar, right? So yeah, she introduces that little aspect, changes the cadence up a lot here, and gets a lot more heavy into that 16th note, that like way more reminiscent of this opening flow with the shuffle, but it's straight this time. However, the coolest part of the flow is the end here. She then introduces this flow scheme where she's skipping beat 1 still, right? And she's starting on the upbeat of beat 1 each time, doing a sextuplet. So doing a sextuplet starting on the and instead of 1. So it's 1 beat behind where you would typically see a sextuplet. Typically, when you're doing a sextuplet, it looks like this, right? So you're just... That's when you're doing a sextuplet, and it just lines up perfectly like that. SOYEON's doing it like this, and she only does 1, don't get me wrong, but it's still 1 beat, 1/2 beat behind where it typically would be, which is always cool to see. And she's doing this consistently, right? She's doing it skipping beat 1, starting on the and of 1 sextuplet, rhyme. Skipping beat 3 on the and of beat 3 sextuplet, rhyme. Skipping beat 1, changes it up, goes into an eighth note triplet, which is basically half of a sextuplet, and then transitions into that 16th straight feel that she did with this bar right here to give you that like makes you reminisce on that bar that she did at the start as well. But it's also a very cool relationship going from a sextuplet to a 16th, because typically 16ths are felt as a very fast-paced rhythm, but because you're coming from the eighth note triplet / sextuplet, it feels like she's slowing it down when she's still going fast. Pretty cool. Just like a little, you know, trick to the mind, I guess. And then she finishes it off with that same delayed sextuplet by a displaced sextuplet by a half beat, and then rhyme, and then eighth note triplet displaced again into a weird 30-second note gallop. She just changes it up. This could have just been this could have just been this exact flow again. It is the right number of syllables for that, but instead she wanted to change it up to give it a more impactful ending, and she just threw in the 30-second notes, which is pretty cool. If you want to see this flow, lined up with the actual song that SOYEON did, please go check it out on my second channel. I'll have it pinned in the pinned comment. If it's not there, it'll definitely be in the description. And you can check it out, how it's like, lined up with the original. You can see how, each word that she does lines up with this. But overall, it's pretty cool. It's really good to see something really interesting from SOYEON again, because it's been a hot minute since I've gotten to like actually like break down a pretty cool SOYEON verse. So I'm very, very, very happy to see this. Hopefully we do get an official version. Hopefully we get like a SOYEON solo album, and she has BBN but new version or something. I don't know, with like this new verse on it. Maybe BBN solo version. And even though I love BB and Youngji, it's just only SOYEON, and we get the 2 new BBN verses on top of her original one. That would be pretty cool. But yeah. I don't know. Hopefully we get to see that someday. But yeah, shout out to all the SOYEON haters who don't know what they're talking about, but try to hate on her because they hate seeing the girl being successful. She just proved you wrong. Again. have a wonderful day, everyone. And yeah, I can't forget, shout out to my amazing Patreons. Everyone scrolling on the screen right now is a Patreon of mine. I want to credit them on every video because I could not be doing this as consistently as I am without them helping fund me every month. And if you would like to support me and you had the means to do so, you can find it link in the pinned comment. The lowest tier is just $2, and you can just support me $2 a month. You get VODs and early access to some content and everything. Or if you would like more benefits, you can go to higher tiers and it tells you what they are and everything. But either way, I'd really appreciate if you have the means to support me. If not, just come support me for free by liking the video, subscribing, and joining us on Discord. I would love to have you in our Discord community. Either way, I'd love to see you as part of that. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, everyone. Bye.